Hi guys, how are you doing? Hi guys, how are you doing? Hope you've been well. Since the last time that I was here, that was a week ago. I hope everything on your side is going fine and you're well, alright? So here I am again. I said that I'm trying my best to at least post one video every week. So here I am today, doing very well. I can't complain from my side, okay? Sawa sawa. So today, it's gonna be a little bit different. But today is the day that I am going to be talking about some of the things that I learned once we lost one of our twins. Okay, um, and hopefully this, this 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 video is going to at least make someone out there knowledgeable, or at least they'll get something out of it which they can use presently or in the future. Sawa sawa. So that is that. And then as I talk about that, I'm going to be doing my makeup. And it's not that I'm going anywhere, it's because I have not done makeup in such a long time. And I thought, let me do this video as I make myself up so that I remind myself how I used to do my makeup. Yes, so you're very much welcome for the new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. Feel at home as always. As I always say, feel at home. And for the returning subscribers, oh, you guys are just the best. You guys are just the best. Thank you for watching me over and over again. Sawa sawa. So I'll go straight ahead. I've not written them, not because I'm not prepared, um, simply because these are things that I experienced firsthand. So, of course, as I go along, I'm going to be pointing them out as I experienced them. All right? Yes. So, if you have not watched the series that I posted some time back, regarding my twin pregnancy, the whole journey up to the delivery. Why don't you first go do that and then you come back to this video so that you can catch up on what I am talking about? Sawa sawa. Yes. So to start with, the first thing that I realized, and I've already done my eyebrows off camera, and they might not be looking alike. They're very close to looking alike, but I usually try to make them at least look like siblings, not necessarily like identical twins. So that is that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to baka eyeshadow. I'm trying to recreate a look I made not so long ago. I'll post a photo of that somewhere on my screen. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be recreating. On my table, I have my makeup, but you won't see them for no particular reason. I'm not going to show them to you. Yes. So the very first thing I realized after we lost our baby is the importance of having knowledge at the tip of your hands. The importance of having information, the necessary information at the tip of your hands. And I'll put a disclaimer and say that I know there are things that happen for a reason because there is God, and of course there are things that happen because that was the plan of God. Okay, but I also know that there are cases or circumstances uh, of losses, of child loss and maternal uh, loss that comes from incompetency or negligence. And for some reason, I highly, highly believe that my case was a case of incompetency. I think I've mentioned previously in one of my videos why I think that my case was um, more or less because of incompetency. Yeah. Because I walked in just before I went to theater to have my elective CS that morning. I came from a scan, okay, because the nurses they really couldn't feel the heartbeat of of our son, okay. Um, so they sent me before I went to theater. Just before I went to theater, they sent me for a scan, and when I left uh, the scan, I left knowing that both of my children were okay. The sonographer could hear the heartbeats, and I could also hear the heartbeats, okay, from what they told me that those are the heartbeats. You get? So I left the scan, going to theater, knowing that I would hold both of my children um, after the delivery. So now, and I would also like to say that there is this notion that once a mother loses uh, one of their child, a mother who was carrying twins, once they lose one of their child, there's this notion that people usually tell someone, at least you came out of the delivery room with one child. And I'll tell you something. While most people try to console the mother in that manner, um, unfortunately, that is nowhere close to consoling a mother who has lost one twin. And I'll give you a reason why. And I want to acknowledge the fact that losing one twin is not the same as a mother who was carrying a singleton who has lost um, their child. That I have to acknowledge. It's not the same as a mother who walks out of the delivery room or out of the hospital without a child, okay. But then again, while I was going for my clinics, okay, um, when I was about, I don't remember exactly. I may have to go back to my videos too so that I can remember at what point I started my clinics. But the midwife who was seeing me, the first hospital I went, mentioned something like, your child can hear you from as early as 12 weeks. 12 weeks should be 3 months, right? Around 3 months, roughly. So, and we are encouraged, as mothers, we are encouraged to talk to your child while they're in the uterus. Talk to your child. Because that is one of the ways of bonding with your child. So, and I believe we all know how um, the mind works or the body works in general. Once a woman has realized that she is expectant, of course, that information goes to the brain. I'll not explain it scientifically, I'm just going to use the layman's explanation. Okay, so once a woman learns that she's expectant, it registers in the mind that I am expectant. Okay, and that is why, kind of like by default, you find yourself doing things that an expectant woman should do. Okay, and what are these things? Eating a balanced diet, looking forward to hearing the kicks of your child, etc., etc., such things. Okay, so now when a woman learns that she is carrying twins, of course that registers in the mind that I am carrying twins. I am not carrying just one child. I am carrying twins. So even when you start communicating to your child from the 3 months, I'm sorry, that's my son who is crying. I don't know whether you can hear him, and he wants to come here where I'm recording. And I cannot record this while he's around. He will not let me. So you'll forgive me for that, okay? So once the mind has recorded that I am carrying twins, you automatically adjust to knowing that you're not just carrying one child, you're carrying two babies in your uterus. So you know very well that when you start talking to your children in your uterus, you're talking to two children, okay? You're not just talking to one child. And it goes on and on up to when you go to deliver the children, okay? Your twins. Um, so that notion that a woman who has lost one child um, is consoled in a way that at least you came out with one child. So that notion that at least you came out of hospital with one child, you didn't come out of hospital bare hands. That doesn't console twinless twin mom at all. It doesn't, because picture this woman, while preparing for the arrival of her children, okay, she has done shopping for not just one child, for two children, okay, and of course there are things that go with shopping for two children, depending on the gender of children, that babies that you're carrying, okay. If it's a boy and a girl, which was my case, of course there's even when you're buying clothes for the boy and the girl, you really don't um, buy similar clothes like in color, or that's just me. I'm just telling you how I did it, okay. So um, this is something that a woman has prepared herself for the 9 months to receive two children, okay. um, so that is that, okay. Now, the other thing I learned is that don't be afraid to seek second opinion. A second opinion. Don't be afraid at all to seek a second opinion. Because that second, especially if your instincts are telling you to seek a second opinion, please go ahead and do that. Don't hesitate at all. At all, at all. Okay? Unfortunately for me, I was hesitant. Yeah, of course, I had one or two people at that time who kept telling me, why don't you seek a second opinion? And I didn't. I did not. And I strongly feel that had I sought a second opinion, maybe, I don't know, but maybe um, our boy would be with us, okay? And before I even continue, I'm personally not the superstitious people. The people who are superstitious, who put every occurrence on some superstitious belief. I am not that kind of a person. I am not. So, in case this video offends you, I'm sorry. But this is just me, okay? All right. So, please don't hesitate to seek a second opinion. If your heart tells you to seek a second opinion, please go ahead and do it. You may save yourself, you may save your child. Sawa. The third thing I learned, this is masking tape I am putting here so that I can apply eyeshadow. You're gonna see the essence of masking tape. at the end. That is if you're interested in things makeup. So, and again, I am not a makeup artist. I'm just a girl from the village who learned how to do her makeup along the way, and enjoys doing it because she enjoys looking good. All right. Yes. So the other thing I learned is don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes we go to hospital and we assume that the medics who are treating us, these ones are not in line. Okay. Oh, shush. No. Ouch. That was painful. But no pain, no gain, right? Yes. So sometimes we go to hospital with the assumption that the medic attending to you knows everything or is 100% right. And I'm not trying to discredit uh, anyone here, but sometimes it's important to ask questions. And you ask questions from the basis of you have gathered the information of this is how um, things happen, or the necessary information. Okay, so where do I start from? Guy, I forgot how to do makeup. Jeez. So how did I start? So don't be afraid to ask questions, or don't be afraid to question. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to question. Okay, especially if you have facts and you have the necessary information. Sawa. Yes. Um, I'll give you a specific thing that I only got to learn about later on. Okay. So now, when I changed hospitals at 35 weeks, I have talked about this. I'm doing a smoky eye. And God, I already, I'm not so sure about how I'm doing this. We move regardless. Maze, we move regardless. So once I changed hospitals at around 35 weeks, and I went for a scan now in this new hospital. The sonographer in this new hospital, according to the sonographer, according to my scans, I was carrying monochorionic diamniotic twins. To mean that I was carrying identical twins. Okay, according to that scan. Later on, I came to learn that now after the loss, I came to learn that identical twins can only be of the same gender because this is one egg. Because this is one egg that got fertilized and then it's separated for identical twins. So yes, I learned that they have to be of the same gender. And at this point, I already knew that I'm carrying a boy and a girl. Okay. So when I changed hospitals, now after the sonographer, the scan had told me that I am carrying monochorionic diamniotic twins, as opposed to the previous hospital's sonographer, whom, according to the scans, I was carrying fraternal twins, dichorionic diamniotic twins. I have explained what that means previously, so please go watch that. Again, don't. There is so much importance in having information. Okay. So now I could have questioned. I could have asked. I could have asked. From what I know, from the information I have, you can only have identical twins who are of the same gender. On very rare occasions, do you get uh, identical twins of different genders? Okay, and on this rare occasion, the girl in this case where there is in this rare case where um, an identical twin, okay, is a boy and a girl. In this rare occasion, the girl hardly yani hakuangi sawa, hakuangi normal, like they don't make it, the girl, okay. uh, so that is something I could have questioned, I could have asked. That from the information I have, I know that you cannot carry identical twins who are of different genders. Sawa. And had I questioned that, maybe I would have gotten the courage to go seek for a second opinion or go back to the previous hospital. Okay. Yes, that is that. I don't even know what number I am at, but hopefully you're taking note of what I've said. The other thing I learned information that I regard highly is the fact that for some reason a twin pregnancy of a boy and a girl, which in most cases is usually fraternal, there's this notion that they are not. It is that pregnancy is not as risky as one where the kids are sharing a placenta, who in this case are identical twins. Okay, and that is something else that I would highly say that is untrue. The minute you discover as a woman, the minute you discover that you're carrying two children, two babies, automatically, whether you're carrying fraternal twins or identical twins, I would highly suggest that you consider yourself a high risk, a high risk pregnancy. Because for my case, for example, I carried when I learned that I was expectant with twins. Okay, I assumed that since I had carried two singletons before, my firstborn and my secondborn, hii pia itakuwa just a walk in the park, and that was so unfortunate because it wasn't the case. Okay, so regardless of how many kids you've carried in the past, the minute you learn that you're carrying two babies, you're carrying twins or triplets or quadruplets, okay, you're carrying multiples as they call them, I would highly suggest that you consider that a high risk pregnancy. Sawa. Yes, because the minute you consider yourself a high risk pregnancy, uh, you are going to have the confidence to even tell the medics to consider you as a high risk pregnancy. And high risk pregnancies, of course, there is, they have more checkups than these normal pregnancies. Sawa. Yes. So, yes, I would suggest that you consider yourself a high risk pregnancy. And then something else also, when When the medics suggest that they would like to see you on a bi-weekly basis, for example, unajua pregnancies, mostly you go for clinics once. The normal pregnancies that don't have any issues, you mostly go for clinic once a month. So the minute the medics suggest that they would like to see you uh, bi-weekly, on a bi-weekly basis, bi-weekly every 2 weeks, okay. Usianze kuona ni kama guys, they're just after my money. No, no, not at all. Not at all. Some could be. Some could be. And of course, if you see that, you can tell people who are just after your money or people who are concerned about your welfare. So don't just assume that these people are just after my money. Okay? Oblige. If they tell you that they would like to see you twice a week, please oblige. It's for the sake of yourself and for the sake of your child. Okay? Don't also uh, don't also assume or underestimate the value of being seen by a professional and a specialist. I think a specialist is a better word to use. And a specialist in this case is a obstetrician. That word I have never learned. Sijai do how to pronounce it correctly. Okay. And also from what I learned is that some gynecologists are also um, obstetrician. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrongly. Okay? Don't hesitate, don't underestimate the value of being seen by a specialist when you are carrying, as long as you are carrying multiples. Sawa. Yes. And I think basically that is the information that I came to, uh, value after the incident had already happened. Yes. And I hope you got something out of this. I don't want this video to be too long. It's already 27 minutes. I hope you got something out of this. Um, Hopefully. And if you're carrying twins now, or if you'll carry twins in the future, I certainly do wish you the very, very, very best. Okay? Yes. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. I know I was supposed to be doing my makeup, but it seems that I'm not. I'm one of those people who are not able to talk as they're doing their makeup. I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.